Alright, now, after the last review, I decided I needed something entertaining in a good way. Entertaining, like the room was entertaining, but in a bad way. This one is entertaining in a good way, and that's The Princess Bride. Maybe sitting there, Scotty, why are you reviewing a gushy princess movie? Well, it's not. It's a family film, and it's actually pretty damn funny. You think about it. Story starts with the grandfather, played by the late Peter Falk, as he tells the story to his grandson, played by Fred Savage. Those of you who are Deadpool fans might be thinking, hey, wait a minute, they ripped off Deadpool. No, this came out in 1987, the year I was born. 88, whatever. 1988, alright. Well, no, this says 87. It says 87 up here, 88 down here. I don't know. 1987, the year I was born. So, technically, this started it first, okay? Deadpool took it from this movie. If you didn't know that, then now you do. If you did know it, then I'm just stupid for telling you. But the grandfather tells the grandson the story of the Princess Bride, which is the story of Buttercup, a poor woman, a poor girl, whatever, who has a stable boy by the name of Wesley. They fall in love, but for some reason, Wesley has to leave because that's the way the story works, isn't it? Like, people fall in love, and then the guy has to leave for some reason, and then he dies, quote unquote, and she's forced to marry a king years later. Now, starting from that, how does a poor girl go from that to suddenly being chosen by a king? Now, we find out later that he is only doing this because he wants to start a war between Gilder and Florin. And he's going to kill a Florin woman, pin it on Gilder, and have his war. So, maybe that's why, but, in regular concept, why would... I don't know. We get good performances from the three people who are supposed to be killers and criminals, whatever. I'll give good performances. We start with Fassini, played by Wallace Shawn. Inconceivable. He's the inconceivable guy. And he has a great performance as the brains of the operation. You have Fezzik, the gentle giant, played by the late Andre the Giant. Great performance. We'd all be dead. No more rhyming, now I mean it. Anybody want a bit? It's just great. And then we have Inigo Montoya, played by Mandy Patinkin. It's not even on here. It is Mandy Patinkin. Patinkin? Whatever. Mandy Patinkin. Patinkin, whatever. And yeah, they're supposed to be villains, essentially, but Vicini is really the only villain, and he gets taken out by the Men in Black, or Wesley. After they kidnap Buttercup, there's a scene where they're on this boat, and Inigo keeps looking back at something, and there's a boat behind them. It's revealed to be the Man in Black who's chasing them, and it's actually Wesley. He takes on Inigo in a sword fight, which was choreographed. They're actually doing the sword fighting. They practice for days to learn the right choreography, to learn the whole sword. They were taught how to sword fight just so they could do the scene right. And there's like a behind-the-scenes documentary on here. I remember seeing that, and they talk a lot about Andre the Giant too, but they literally practice and practice and practice the sword fight and the fencing, so that he can get it right. And the sword fight is one of the best parts of the film. Just how they go back and forth at a little witty repartee. Like, you invested me in nobody uses money. I know something you don't know. What's that? I am not left-handed. another left-handed knife. You know, great. And after he bests Inigo, he goes head to head with Fezzik and ends up choking him out. And then he goes brain to brain with Vicini over this iocane powder, where it says is very poisonous, and they have to choose which cup you put it in. But the twist is he put it in both cups, and he's just immune to iocane powder. That's how it works. So, and then she has a fight because she figures out he's the Dread Pirate Roberts, and that he killed her Wesley. So she pushes him down. Why don't you die, whatever, and she pushes him down the hill, and as he goes running down the hill, he says, as you wish, and she's thinking, oh shit, it's Wesley. She starts tumbling down the hill after him, because she realizes the fire swamp, alright, they go into the fire swamp, because they're trying to get away from, Prince Humperdinck, played by Chris Sarandon, who's the prince who wants to marry Buttercup. And the fire swamp scenes are all great. You got these rodents of unusual size, and fire that sprouts out every once in a while. It's just great. The way they brought this to life was just great. So eventually the Humperdinck corners them outside the fire swamp, and he's, says, we know how to go through the fire swamp now, so we can live in there for quite some time. Well, and there's this great exchange where they go back and forth. He's like, death first! And then she says, okay, I'll do it. Like, what was that? As long as, he lets Wesley go, which they don't. They take him to there's the albino in this weird tree cave, a thing, I guess. Sorry. But, puts him in there, and she's strapped to this thing where you get to electrocute every once in a while. And they're going to keep doing that, and they keep torturing him. But Buttercup has believed that they took Wesley back to his ship. But she goes to him and she says, I do not love you, I do not wish to marry you. I want to be with Wesley. So they make an agreement that the Humperdinck will send his 4 fastest ships to try to find Wesley's ship to tell him to come back for Buttercup. Well, he doesn't do that. Instead, he goes down to the tree cave and he electrocutes the hell out of Wesley, supposedly killing him. At this point, though, Inigo has gone back to the village where he was. He's slobbering drunk. Fezzik shows up, now part of the brute squad that was assembled, and he saves Inigo, and they decide to go find the Men in Black. They hear the screams when he is totally electrocuted, and they fight off the albino. And, I guess I should tell you Inigo's story. When he was a child, his father made a sword for the six-fingered man. He made it, the six-fingered man came for the sword, and only promised 1/10 of what he was going to give, what he said he was going to give Inigo's father. When Inigo's father said no, the six-fingered man stabbed him through the heart. With what? Does he already have a sword? Or what? But probably. Stabbed him through the heart. But he didn't take the sword. That's what always gets me, alright? He killed Inigo's father over because he wouldn't give him the sword. Now, I can assume, I don't know if else right says it, but Inigo tries to fight the six-fingered man with the sword, so maybe that's why he didn't take it. But it was a little kid, so I don't understand why he couldn't just push the kid down, take the sword, and leave. I mean, all this over a sword, and in the end he didn't care, he just ran off. I don't know. But, when Wesley is taken down to the cave, he finds out the six-fingered man is actually Count Rugen, which is the second in command of, the right-hand man of Prince Humperdinck. So, they rescue Wesley, but he is supposedly dead. So they take him, and this is my favorite scene in the movie. Favorite part, my favorite character. Miracle Max, played by Billy Crystal. And they take him to perform a miracle to bring him back to life. And he's like, he's all dead. There's a difference. There's mostly dead and there's all dead. Mostly dead, there's a chance we can bring back to life. All dead, there's only one thing you can do. What's that? Rifle through his pockets for loose change. Look through his pockets for loose change. Then they ask, what is his one true? Well, what does he have that's worth living for? And he, they do this thing with like an air thing, like if you were to blow on a fire or whatever, do that in his mouth, and then they push on it, and he says, "True love." True love. There's nothing better except for a nice MLT mutton lettuce and tomato sandwich with the lettuce is crisp and mutton nice and lean. But he specifically said to blave, which is to bluff. Means he has to do the card game. Then his wife shows up. Liar! Liar! Oh, go away, you witch. I'm not a bitch, I'm your wife. Humperdinck. He does like that, Humperdinck. And he's like, if you bring him back to life, and he goes like, if you bring him back to life, he will slaughter Prince Humperdinck. He will stop Prince Humperdinck's wedding, that's what it is. I bring him back to life, Humperdinck suffers? Well, now that's something to live for. So they did bring him back to this really chocolate-coated pill that they're going to get to him. I have to wait a few minutes for potency, but they take it. And my favorite part is at the end. After they leave, they're like, bye-bye now. Bye-bye, boys. Good luck storming the castle. Do you think they can do it? We'll take a miracle. Bye-bye. I love that line. I have a ringtone for that, but it's not what I'm using, but I love that. So they get to the castle wall, and they give the pill to Wesley. He wakes up instantly. But he can only move his head at this point. Barely move his head. Then he starts getting more limbs. He's able to move back because he's mostly dead all day. So they need some supplies. Like they need a cloak. They need a wheelbarrow. And they have a wheelbarrow, but then we need a Holocaust cloak. That can help you. And Fezzik, you mean like this? And the funniest thing is just how Fezzik Inigo looks at him and goes, "Where did you get that?" Just how where did you get that? It's just funny. It's like, where did you get that? From Miracle Max. He said it was my size. He said I would have it. So they use it to drive Pablo Roberts to scare off the Bruce Squad or whatever, the guards. And then they get the key from the main guard and they get in. But the wedding goes off with sort of H. Humperdinck speeds it up to where the guy, it's the marriage, and Wav, sweet Wav, say man and wife. Man pronounces man and wife. Man and wife. So they. But yeah, it doesn't count because they didn't like. She didn't say I do, so it doesn't count. But there's a showdown between Wesley and Humperdinck where Wesley can barely move, so he's bluffing most of the time, but he's like, so that Humperdinck said, "Get up, so we can fight we can fight." "Yes, I will get up. We will fight to the death." "No, to the pain." "I'm not familiar with that." He's gonna cut off his eyes, his nose, his fingers, stuff like that. And he says, "You relieve his ears, so that every babe that weeps, every woman that shrieks, you will hear it." That's what "to the pain" means. It means you suffer for the rest of your life. And then like, "Oh, I think you're bluffing." So he stands up, and so he can sort of stand up, and then he has Buttercup tie him up, but he's so weak. And then another one of my favorite parts is when they get ready to get rescued, Fezzik gets 4 horses, and they're outside the Fezzik. "I got the horses. I got 4 horses. I figure There'll be four of us. Once we get the lady. Hello, lady. And then right off into the sunset. And then they disperse parts with the grandson and the grandfather throughout part of the film. Like, he's in like gooey, kissy parts until the end. And, you know. But, yeah. It ends with, because As You Wish, I guess I didn't explain that. No matter what Buttercup told Wesley when he was her stable boy, he would say "As You Wish," and that's why "As You Wish" was a big giveaway that it was him. And at the end, the grandfather goes to leave, and the grandson says, "Can you come back some other time and read me the story again?" And the grandfather just looks at him and says, "As you wish." And the movie ends. This is a great movie. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's a great movie. I love to watch this. It was breath of fresh air after The Room. So, yeah, Princess Bride gets a 9 out of 10. What are your thoughts on The Princess Bride? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all.